Hello drama lovers, welcome back to this channel. Maybe you're sipping warm coffee in the corner of your room, or scrolling through your phone on a slow-moving bus under the evening rain. Wherever you are, let me have your attention for a moment, because that day, a day that nearly passed like any ordinary date on a production calendar, turned out to carry an unexpected heartbeat, a breath that made the entire Great Escape Season 7 crew fall silent, even pausing the echo of their own steps. And like a whisper barely heard, this story was born. A simple visit, a pair of eyes that met, and a love that bloomed without needing the dazzle of spotlights. The shoot took place far in Zhejiang province, in a valley often veiled with morning mist. For Shu Kai, months had passed in a whirlwind of extreme routines, endless puzzles, physically draining escape rooms, and challenge scripts that stuck in his mind like damp stickers refusing to peel off. He never complained in front of the cameras, but fatigue leaked through his breath, when no microphones were chasing him, when the lens turned away, and he stood alone behind the thin tent, wiping sweat from his temple in silence. At 11 minutes past 11, everything was still on schedule. The director called for a break, the cameraman replaced a battery, and the lighting crew checked the sun's angle. Meanwhile, Shu Kai sat resting on a tent pole, his head lowered, calming the rush of blood in his ears. No one knew that, at that exact moment, a white van had stopped just a few meters away from the set, without loud honking, no red carpet, only a small swirl of roadside dust. The van door opened, and out stepped a figure rarely seen in public lately, Tan Songyun. Her white hoodie hung loosely on her shoulders, faded blue jeans on her legs, and a worn bucket hat covering part of her hair. In her arms, she clutched a small cooler bag filled with lunchboxes. At the corner of her lips, a smile she kept hidden from the world, as if afraid that happiness this bright might reflect off the lens of a lurking paparazzo. It was just her, her assistant, and the faint scent of ginger chicken soup wafting through the bag. Tan Songyun's steps barely touched the ground. She ducked under wires, spotlights, and boards as if trying not to disturb the threads of the scene. But whispers broke the silence quickly, spreading, from one crew member to the next, until they reached Shu Kai, who was sipping water. He turned around, and reflexively, his eyes recognized the presence so familiar despite the ordinary clothes. When his gaze met Tan Songyun standing just meters away, time felt squeezed and slowed. The air between them thickened, then burst open with a soft smile forming at the edge of his lips. Arms extended. Tan Songyun moved first, breath caught in her chest. They met halfway, embraced without words, without caring that the boom mic still hung overhead. The crew simultaneously froze. Even the camera, which usually observed everything, held still as if respecting a moment too fragile to capture. In that embrace, Shu Kai's exhaustion crumbled like sand under rain. He closed his eyes, breathed into her hair, while Tan Songyun whispered softly near his ear, a brief prayer, or maybe a reminder that he wasn't alone. Without waiting for a cue, Tan Songyun lowered her cooler, laid out a small cloth on the damp ground, and began unpacking each box, ginger chicken soup steaming gently, stir-fried greens still moist, sweet and sour ribs glistening in caramel glaze, and of course, sesame rice cakes holding the nostalgia of Shu Kai's childhood. She called a few staff members to join. Silence gripped the air for a while, then melted into shy laughter when Shu Kai helped unpack the containers, stirred the soup, and smiled to himself, a smile rarely seen on screen. That spontaneous lunch wasn't wild, wasn't loud, wasn't filled with excessive praise. Just quiet conversation slipped between the clinking of spoons and plastic containers. Tan Songyun fed Shu Kai a piece of rib. The crew playfully whistled and cheered. Deng Lun laughed out loud and shouted he wanted to sign up for packed lunches too. Victoria Song tapped Tan Songyun on the shoulder, tasting the soup herself. For a moment, the entire production team forgot about the complex script, the challenge timer, the show's rating. They were immersed in a kind of togetherness more real than any scene they had ever filmed. But true drama often unfolds behind the scenes. About 30 meters from the tent, a pair of internship eyes held up a phone lens quietly. All it took was one upload to Weibo to ignite a spark. The hashtag #TanSongyunVisit Shu Kai exploded like fireworks on a gloomy afternoon, followed by #KaiSong on set and #Great Escape 7 Love Moment. Within hours, a 20-second clip, showing Shu Kai shyly glancing at his girlfriend, had soared to millions of views. Netizens dismissed the blurry resolution, their focus resting entirely on the honest joy in his face. "Forget the escape room. This is the real escape of the heart," one wrote. "She cooked for him. She came in person. What kind of love do you still doubt?" said another. On the other side of the screen, Producers stared at the trending graphs with furrowed brows, awed and anxious all at once. Business collided with emotional reality. Should they include the snippet in an upcoming episode? Of course, Tan Songyun's permission was needed. But the public had already tasted it. Opinions flowed like a swift river, demanding a travel variety show starring Shu Kai and Tan Songyun. Fans wanted to see them cook together, explore quiet cities, or just lean on a train platform waiting for the sunset. The digital world is a raging current. No time for hesitation. That same afternoon, Shu Kai posted a photo of the lunchboxes to his personal Weibo. No tag, no mention, just a simple caption. Filming is tiring, but today felt like home. Thank you. 10 words, yet enough to stir an entire fanbase. That sentence wasn't just gratitude, it was an open door to endless romantic speculation. In a brief interview on his way back to the trailer, a fan shouted if he would return the surprise. Eyes still glowing, Shu Kai replied, "Of course. I just need a crazier idea, and I'll find one." Rumor had it that his team was already reserving a private villa at a hot spring in Sichuan for mid-July, right after production paused. Night crawled in, Zhejiang's skies turned a burnt orange on the horizon. Tan Songyun said her goodbye with a second hug, slightly longer, slightly more reluctant. She lowered her gaze, placed a quick kiss on the back of Shu Kai's hand, a small gesture, yet enough to make his pulse leap. The director held his breath. Other crew members pretended to study their scripts. When the white van pulled away, Shu Kai remained where he stood, watching until her trail vanished at the bend. A silent chime lingered in the air, settling into the hearts of everyone who witnessed it, marking that day as one they would never forget. The following morning, polite news broke that Tan Songyun had asked the crew not to post photos until the episode aired. She didn't want excessive attention, she said. She only wanted to make sure Shu Kai had a proper meal. Imagine sincerity in the middle of an industry that often turns small gestures into spectacle. That message didn't dampen the hype, it fueled admiration. Netizens called it a gentle rain in the desert, proving that even in the loud world of ratings and clicks, there's still room for silent, selfless love. Days passed, Great Escape resumed as scheduled. The calendar thickened again. But something subtle had shifted. People said Shu Kai now brought a small thermos of herbal soup to set, avoided fried food in the canteen, and sometimes replayed voice notes Tan Songyun had sent during long, cold nights. His smile looked calmer. His steps, lighter. As if the weight of each elaborate puzzle was now shared, half carried by someone far away, but always at the front line of his strength. And so, hello drama lovers, maybe you're wondering, what makes this story so deeply stirring? Maybe because their love doesn't scream, doesn't quote poetic lines, doesn't flaunt dramatic kisses under lights. It simply stands in simple care, cooking a favorite dish, traveling hundreds of kilometers, offering a spoon to tired lips. In silence, their love speaks the loudest, cracking through the walls of cynicism that often surround public figures. Now, let's close the night with one final thought. Will Tan Songyun return to set again, perhaps with a new dessert? Will the crew finally release an exclusive clip to satisfy curious fans? And most importantly, what kind of surprise is Shu Kai planning to top the heartwarming lunch? All we can do is guess, wait, and trace each small heartbeat that might slip into the timeline. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think intimate moments like this should be aired, or kept private? What's the simplest act of love you've experienced that changed your day? Share your story, because here we gather pieces of emotion, waiting for the next part of the tale that will once again stir our hearts. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us, because every quiet second may hide an unexpected wave. And when that wave rises, we'll be here, silent, yet faithful, to bring you the latest, just for you.